Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if this is your first time here. These cards, all right here, are city names that I just came up with for my D&D campaign. And how did I come up with them? Well, I was sitting in church this morning, and we were reading in Nehemiah 3, and I noticed these place names that had Beth in front of them. And I thought, well, what is that? So I looked that up, and that is just the second letter of the Hebrew alphabet transliterated. You know, it's Bet, but we say Beth. And it got me thinking, what if that is like new in that language? You know, what if Beth Zur is like New Zur, right? We have York and New York. So what if that's similar to that? And so I looked up the Hebrew alphabet and I saw these names. I thought that was pretty cool. And then I looked up the Greek alphabet and I thought, oh, that's also pretty cool. It's got some interesting names there. And obviously alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, you know, those are ones that everyone is going to know probably. And so we want to probably steer away from those, but we could deploy a Beta Zur, right? That wouldn't be an issue. And then I thought, well, how are we going to come up with the other names? Because I struggle with coming up with plausible sounding names for city places or for cities in D&D. And so I just Googled the names of animals in German, the names of animals in Spanish. I Googled food names in German. And so this is what I came up with. Calf Essel, right? That's just K donkey. All right, I just picked a letter in the Greek or in the Hebrew alphabet, and I combined it with a word from a known language here in the world. Calf Oso, right? The city by the sea is just K bear. Calf Fasan, the city at the base of a mountain, is just K pheasant, right? Eta Hamel. This is a small village next to a large dungeon. You know, it's in the middle of some ruins. It's just H Ram, right? Eta Vaca. That would be that's the city where the Thieves Guild lives. That's H Cow, right? We have to just come up with the description of the city. Eta Nier. This is the city at a crossroads between two kingdoms, and that's just H Kidney, right? And then I also thought, wouldn't it be cool if we just took a letter from both languages, the Hebrew and Greek alphabets, and we just combine them? Resh Z, that's just RX, right? Yod Tau, that's just YT. Dalet Mu, that's just DM, right? So it's, I think this is a fascinating way of coming up with cities. I think, you know, it comes up with some interesting sounding names, some names that are probably going to be relatively memorable, right? Your players are probably going to remember Etavaca. You know, they might not remember some weird name that I come up with, you know, that's just a random collection of syllables, but, you know, maybe they'll remember Resh Z. That sounds exotic, but it also sounds plausible, and it's something that we can pronounce. So that was just a thought that I had. I implore you to steal this for your game. You don't have to use, you know, my examples. You don't have to use animal names. You can use literally anything you want. But I would encourage you to, you know, give this a shot for some city names and see what happens. If you deploy this and your players love it or hate it, I'd love to hear in the comments. And as I flesh out my own world, I mean, right now I'm playing in Neverland. There's a video up in the cards that you can check that out to see the campaign setting I'm in. But at some point, I will go back to developing my own world. And I think this is a fascinating way of naming cities in my own world that is pretty quick, actually. I came up with all 9 of these names in maybe 5 minutes, right? Right before this video came out, like right before I made this video, I came up with these names. And yeah, so let me know in the comments your thoughts on this. What would you look for? Is there another alphabet from an ancient language or a language that we still use today that has cool names for all of the letters when we translate the names into English? And, you know, I fully recognize this is taking something that exists as part of a culture in the world and putting it into a campaign, putting it into a fantasy D&D world, And I think that has to be okay. We have to be okay with taking the stuff we think is cool from the real world and putting it into our campaigns, as long as we're doing it in a respectful manner, right? I would never use these derogatorily, right? I would never try and put down the German culture or the Spanish culture by using these names. We have to be respectful, but it has to be okay to put the stuff you think is cool into your D&D world. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please like this video, share it with a friend that is an aspiring dungeon master trying to build their own campaign world, and I will see you all in the next video. Don't forget to go check out the roll of a D20 that I did. I'll put that up in the cards as well. No spoilers in this video, but I'm rolling a D20 every day for the month of February, and go check out those videos. It's pretty interesting. I will see you all in the next video.